Good morning and welcome to morning meditation. Great to have you with us. Good morning and welcome to morning meditation. Great to have you with us. All right, it is working. Our Lady of Snows. It's kind of a great story. I like it. I've shared this before, that I enjoy the story a lot because of my grandparents grew up in Belleville, Illinois. And my grandmother had a great devotion to Our Lady of Snows and is buried in Belleville, and that's where the shrine is. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the what we have in Rome. We'll start with that. So Rome has the Church of Mary Major. This is why we're talking about it today. It's the Feast of Mary Major. And Rome has this church called Mary Major. And it's one of the four main churches that you can go to in Rome, along with St. Peter's, St. Paul's outside the wall, and the John Lateran. Each of them has their own unique beauty and their own unique character. They're all different. They're all very interesting. And one of the things about Mary Major is that it has an ancient tradition with it. In 331, the council proclaimed Mary Mother of God. Forget which council it was now. I just read it this morning, so sorry about that. Mary Mother of God. It was a discussion. Is it Mary Mother of God or Mary Mother of Jesus, right? Because the idea was to have the full divinity of Christ. And so if Christ is God, then some way Mary must be Mother of God. And that's basically the argument and the discussion about it. And they're saying, oh no, she's Mother of Christ. Anyway, this is in 331. And the great chant goes out, Theotokos, Theotokos, Mother of God, Mother of God. And so they want to build a new church with this title to it in Rome. And I'm just going to take a quick look here. And so this is the Council of Ephesus, Mary Mother of God in 431. My apologies. So is the largest church in the world, honoring God through Mary, standing atop one of Rome's 7 hills. It has this great character about it. All right. That's right. The church is renamed. Anyway, the church that's on the hill is renamed. That's why it was confusing to me. In Roman 352 AD, Mary had indicated that she wanted a church built in her honor, and the site would be covered with snow. On a hot day, August 5th, every day in Rome in August would be hot. The Esquiline Hill was covered with snow. All Rome proclaimed the summer snow a miracle, and the church to honor Mary was built in 358. And so it's actually built in 358 and rededicated in the middle of the 5th century, as Mary Mother of God. Doesn't say that here. So Theotokos, Theotokos, Mary Mother of God. So that's the Roman Church, Mary Mother of God. and or Mary Major, as it's called, but dedicated to Mary, Mother of God. And sometimes you get this question, we've got a church named St. Mary. What's it actually dedicated to? Which Mary is it? And it's interesting that the St. Mary's in Little Falls was a conglomeration church. It brought all the churches together on the east side of the river, and there was Polish and German and French all over there, and into one church, St. Mary's. And in the corner there is a stone that's from St. Mary Major in Rome. And so I don't know that we ever knew which Mary it was actually dedicated to, but since the stone from Mary Major, it says on it in Latin, from Mary Major in Rome to St. Mary's, Little Falls, 1958. And so that's a cool cornerstone to the arch of that church. And you can see that if you go there, left-hand side of the arch, it's still there. Very thoughtful. So, thought would be that St. Mary's Church in Little Falls would be dedicated to Mary, Mother of God. But I don't know that for sure. Could never find that. Now, the Our Lady of Snows in Belleville, right, becomes an interesting story, perhaps. Father Paul Schulte, he was a World War I German pilot. Schulte, Father Paul Schulte, a World War I German pilot. Then he ended up joining the OMIs, and he ended up in Canada and Alaska and north of the Arctic Circle. And he was flying, and let me just read what it says about him. He was known as the Flying Priest of the Arctic. He was a pilot who brought medical aid and supplies to remote oblate missions, particularly north of the Arctic Circle. He developed a strong personal devotion to Our Lady of Snows while working in the oblate missions. And so he built a small chapel. So he's a World War I German pilot, and so they grounded him. They said, the War Department, this guy, former German pilot, can't be flying around the Arctic Circle by himself with a plane. We don't know what he's up to. So the Oblates, we'll take him in Belleville. He can't cause any trouble here. Well, he decides in Belleville to build this shrine. He starts with a very small shrine. Chapel, I should say. He commissioned the famous artist J. Watson Davis to paint a picture of Our Lady's Snows. Davis depicted an oblate missionary and his airplane on a sick call to an Inuit mission, with Our Lady appearing surrounded by rays of the northern lights. And we're going to try to show this. Don't know how well this would work. But here's the picture. And so I will try to show this as best I can using the YouTube to show it well. Okay, I gotta have it up a little higher. All right. So we see the Blessed Virgin surrounded by the northern lights, and then in the bottom is the plane. Father Paul flew the plane, and then on a sick call to native village with the sled dogs nearby. And so on a sick call to the Inuit. And this is, so then the Our Lady of Snows takes on a new light when it's connected with this pilot who flew up in the Arctic Circle. Okay, that is kind of a cool thing. I like it anyway. At that time, so the painting of Our Lady of Snows was hung in this. The painting of Our Lady of Snows was hung in the seminary chapel, and they began to pray in that area in Belleville, 1943. The perpetual novena at Our Lady of Snows was begun. The first solemn outdoor novena was held in 1951. The final day being celebrated on August 5th, the Feast of Our Lady of Snows. The novena became an annual event which soon attracted thousands each year. The painting of Our Lady of Snows was given a place of prominence in the new chapel. It's in the Visitor Center lobby at the National Shrine of Our Lady of Snows. The devotion of Our Lady of Snows grew. The Oblates decided to look for a location for a shrine to be built in her honor. The search for a suitable site ended in 1958 with the purchase of 80 acres of farmland on the bluffs overlooking the Mississippi River. It seemed an ideal location for the proposed National Shrine of Our Lady of Snows. It was important that the shrine be an exceptional example of modern architecture, and that the devotional sites be strategically placed throughout the shrine's acreage. And so that's one of the striking things about Our Lady of Snows. They've got the chapel walk there. They've got, what do they call that? They've got the Way of the Cross, and they've got the mysteries of the Rosary there. It's quite beautiful. And then in the wintertime, December, they have kind of a festival of lights there, which is the time of year we visited there. And that was a great blessing. So I was checking this out. This is nothing to do with Our Lady of Snows, but we ask her to pray for us. But tomorrow's the Feast of the Transfiguration. And so I'm believing that at 4 o'clock today, since it's the Feast of the Lord, that we would celebrate the Transfiguration. So I'm believing that the 7 o'clock Mass tonight at St. Anthony's would be a celebration of the Transfiguration of the Lord. And since it says there's an anticipated Mass from last year, I'm guessing this much must actually be a real thing. All right, so I'm thinking that at 4 o'clock tonight, I can't find the 100% for sure verification of that, but 4 o'clock we would have after 4 o'clock tonight we would have the Transfiguration. And tomorrow we'd celebrate the Transfiguration. And actually, strangely, it should probably be through the Saturday night Masses, because the Feast of the Lord should take precedence over the Sunday of Ordinary Time. Because when August 6th is on a Sunday, we celebrate the Feast of the Transfiguration. Interesting liturgical development. I will think about what I'm going to do about that, if we will do Transfiguration tomorrow night and then do a Sunday Mass on Sunday. Not sure about that. I'll have to do a bit more study. And probably the diocesan website would tell me what this would be, but I didn't look it up previously, so. Let's see. If it is possible. Nope, it does not, at least what I'm looking at, does not list it out as what we should do. Okay? All right. Thanks for joining me today. Sorry about being a little disjointed, a little difficult today. So thank you for your prayers, your blessings, O Lord. Ask you to bless us in your light, your goodness, and your love. Mary, Mother of God, pray for us. Peace be with you. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Oh, we do this Tuesdays through Fridays live at 9 o'clock, and you can catch us after that on the YouTube or on the Facebook. Okay. Peace.